Hi everybody, Martha here. It's Sunday, January 15th, 2017. It is a bitter, snowy January day in Eastern Ontario, the kind of day that Fran would know very well, having grown up in this area. Hello to Nan and Barb, and to Beth and Dawn, to Paul and Sarah and Rachel, to Jim and Laura, to Mandy and Emmett, and to Beth and her partner. Sue called this afternoon, to tell me she'd been talking with Barb and that Fran has died. And I feel sad. It's like the end of an era. Selfishly, for me, there's one less piece of connective tissue between Mom and Dad and me and my childhood. And so I thought I would share some memories that I have with you of Fran. Certainly I have always thought that if Fran was reincarnated, she'd come back as a Siamese cat. She always seemed sleek and smoky voiced, like Samantha and Thomasina. And I have three stories that I thought I would share. The first is this very vivid memory I have from my childhood. I must have been maybe, 7 or 8. So we'd all just really moved from Ontario to Vancouver. And I was standing on the driveway, you know how our driveways, average drive, met. And I was feeling very small and intimidated, and Fran very tall and intimidating, a hand on one hip, cigarette in the other. And she was giving me shit for something I'd done to Donald. And Don, I apologize. I can't remember what it was, but I hope you've recovered. And after it was all over, I ran into the house boo-hooing to Mom, who was not the least bit sympathetic, because she knew I had obviously done something to merit all this, and I just had to kind of suck it up and take the consequences. I will never forget, after Dad died, so I'd flown home from Montreal to Vancouver, and we'd all gone to someplace on the North Shore to view his body, and Mom and I and Biz and Sue were there, and the Nelsons. I mean, that's how I think of you folks. You're all just a package deal, you know? And so the Nelsons in this case would have been Fran and Nan and Barb. And I lost it. But I knew it was safe. It was safe to grieve with our friends the Nelsons. Who better to understand what it was like to lose a dad and a husband? And Fran was very stalwart and steady with Mom, a true friend at a time of great sorrow. And then I moved away, and I didn't get to see people regularly, but it's always very important for me to visit with as many of you as I can when I'm out west. And Fran always made an effort to be there if there was any kind of get-together, always full of great conversation, books she'd read, concerts she'd been to, loving her life on the North Shore. I am quite sure she is the person who's responsible for my addiction to Purdy's chocolates. I remember her coming to some gathering with either a 12 or 18-inch long box of chocolates, all of them lined up in a row from Purdy's. I'm just grateful that Purdy's is now in Ottawa, so I don't have to pay the shipping charges anymore. I went looking for photos of us after I got off the phone with Barb this afternoon, because we had a great long chat. I was sure I had tons of photos of our families, and I found the 3 that I attached to this email. They were taken the Christmas of '83, so then the second year after Dad died. And it's clearly the house on Ridge Drive. I recognize the fireplace and the paintings. Barb and Paul are there. Dawn's there. Nan's there. And Fran, looking elegant and warm, engaged in some conversation with somebody. And that is how I will always remember her. I can't know what it's like for you folks, but I sure know what it was like to lose both my parents. And my hope is over the next months that, you know, as you get some rest and you miss her, there'll be times that will suck. But there may be times, like there were for us, where suddenly you'll find yourself laughing or feeling great because a memory will come of her doing something wonderful or saying something or just being Fran. And in those moments, it'll be like she's right there in the room with you. So here's to you, and most importantly, here's to Fran. Love you lots.